Our society doesn't want strong men, and it's proven in the way that we structure the conversations between men and women on what's expected and why it's expected. We got two good clips to get into that reinforce exactly what I'm talking about. These are both from Psych Hacks. So I think he's going to be changing the channel name from Psych Hacks to Ryan Taraban, which is just his real name. Nonetheless, really good channel. I'm a fan of it. I will link both videos in the description, of course. Check them out. Subscribe. It's really good stuff. Let's get into this because I think this is very, very good stuff.
When the phrases a real man or man up are used in today's day and age, they are always, always, always accompanied by imperatives to act in ways that benefit women. I dare you to find an exception to this rule. My point here is that all men, especially young men, have to understand that their dominant culture has absolutely no interest in supporting them in becoming men in their own right. Read my lips. The dominant culture does not want masculine men. It does not want men to be vigorous and powerful and prosperous and happy and abundant. And I'm going to explain why that is in a future episode.
He goes on a little further. This isn't the end of this video, but this to me was always clear. This to me was always clear, like even in school. I would personally get punished, and the other boys in the rooms would get punished for showing or displaying traditionally masculine or ambitious traits, to put it lightly. So you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere. He's definitely onto something with this. I've seen this since I was a kid. Why are they doing this? Your guess is as good as mine. Anyways, Mr. Ryan Taraban, carry on.
For the time being, however, it's important for men to understand that their value is not fundamentally predicated on what they can do for women. And if possible, to find other men who view masculinity as an inherently good and positive trait, as this will help to offset the pressures to conform to the dominant culture they might otherwise feel.
So one thing I will say before we jump into the next video, I think that the conversation gets muddy and the lines get blurry in the like subjective description of masculinity, because you hear people throw around like toxic masculinity, but what is that even? Like, because that's subjective. We all can bicker about what that is. I think that unfortunately a lot of people see very normal, healthy masculine behavior and boundaries and expectations. And our society, like the dominant culture now that we have in the West, but specifically America, it goes after what I think is healthy masculinity. I see it all the time. I see guys, so much as even having standards for who you date. You are told you're controlling and abusive and insecure and weak and jealous. Like, no, dude, men need to have standards, especially men that care about themselves and respect themselves. They want, something healthy, something productive, something happy. Anyway, calm down, dude. Your blood pressure's getting high. Let him talk more. He goes into the actual double standards of the way we talk. And this is a great little short clip as well, because in that first video, he talked about, manning up, how that conversation is always structured. Be a man for the woman. Do what's best for the woman. Step up for the woman. Not saying I necessarily disagree with that, but it makes you think. Now he goes on to say things that you would never, or maybe not you, but most people in our society as a whole would never be okay with. And it's him like sarcastically saying things in the same way to women. And I don't think this is very crazy, but most people probably would. Let's get into this.
A real woman wouldn't waste a man's time. She would give him the type of relationship that provides him with the greatest freedom and satisfaction, irrespective of her own interests and desires. And a real woman certainly wouldn't put her friends or her finances or her career or herself ahead of her relationship. She needs to woman up and make sacrifices as appropriate. After all, happy spouse, happy house, right? A real woman is fit and feminine, so the man can abide in his masculine. For some reason, he just isn't able to do that unless she shows up in a certain way, and so it falls on her to do so. And she definitely needs to woman up and take responsibility for a man, both materially and emotionally. Otherwise, he is well within his rights to walk. Don't waste his time, ladies. Like, do any of these statements sound familiar? Like, of course not. We would never hear these coming from the dominant culture. And if and when they are voiced in corners of the internet, they are immediately denounced as sexist and misogynistic. And how could that be? Like, as a social observer, I'm curious about how the same advice can be normalized when directed to one gender and villainized when directed to the other and not be sexist. It raises some questions, to say the least.
So real quick, he went on to ask a few questions about how that can be. Well, probably the same way the family courts are so twisted. The divorce courts in general are twisted. We have a big problem with that. And the funny thing is, I don't think what he said in that second video is controversial at all. What have I said a million times? Our problem, one of our biggest problems with dating, and I know I'm biased because I'm a man, this channel's for men, so calm down, ladies. Take your meds, and most of you are on them, so take them. Take an extra dose for this video. One of the biggest problems that we have, as far as like behaviorally, is that we literally, as a society, like women, their peers, and the media, and television, and music, and all of it, all of pop culture, they poke fun and belittle women that actually act the way he's talking in this short clip. If a woman acts traditional, self-respecting, respecting of her relationship, she acts like a good mother and a good partner, and she's made fun of. We reward, and men as well, we reward shitty behavior. We reward it. Most of the men that I see complaining on my videos, you guys are still rewarding it. You're still going out and tipping a female waitress way better than you'd ever tip a male waiter, no matter how good or bad they do. I'm all for tipping good if they deserve it, but I've seen girls that do a horrible job, and these guys, they tip really well because they're going to buy her love. Oh man, she's going to like me so much. Same thing with the OF shit. You guys talk all this big game about respecting yourself and stepping away from that. They're still getting a bazillion views. They're still getting a bazillion views and making all this money. In fact, you want to talk about money? I'm going on a little tangent, but let me speak. Give me a little room to breathe. We were at the restaurant the other night, me and my bros, and this young girl, she's like 21 years old, 22 years old, pretty young girl. She was pissed off because of her tips. This girl was saying she usually makes $700 to $1,000 a night in tips. And I hope she's exaggerating, but it didn't seem like she was. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, God bless her. I shouldn't be hating, but still, it makes me wonder why so many men get up in arms about all this stuff, but they're still behaving so poorly. I don't know if we can ever shift the discussion in our society. I don't know if we can ever make it popular to act right. Like for women to act right. We can argue what that is. All I know is as of now, our society is still shaming men, attacking men, holding men extremely close to the fire when they don't behave and perform in a traditional, respecting, masculine, manly way when it comes to being for the woman. But we do not hold women accountable at all. In fact, we encourage them to behave very poorly. We reward that. Just something to think about. I think it's a little bit weird. Maybe it's all just coincidental, but maybe there's something a little more nefarious at play. You guys tell me. I don't know. I'm just a dummy. I'm just a dummy that's thinking out loud, having some fun. You guys tell me. Anyways, like the video if you did like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, I do have the one-on-one phone number in the description. If you don't got the money, don't do it. But if you do got the money, hit me up. It's a pay-per-minute service, and it's really cool to talk to you guys, so consider it. Until next time, guys, I'm going to leave you the same way that I always leave you. Take your vitamins, hit the gym, and always stay improving. God bless. Be well. I'm out.